On this edition of LaGrange College Presents 12 Stories. 12 individual stories about the students, the friends, the year-round activities that make LaGrange College a great place to live and learn and grow. First, a look back at January 2018 and a study away journey that one group of students will never forget.
Since 2001, LaGrange College has been the only college in Georgia to offer a Jan term, 4 weeks worth of classes designed to encourage students to explore course content outside of their majors. Jan term 2018 added a new wrinkle to that concept by teaming a group of business majors with a group of music majors for a travel trip to Central Europe. Prague, Vienna, Venice, and Milan, birthplace of some of the world's greatest music, and home to some of the world's most unusual economic contrasts.
My name is Sarah Bearden. I'm a marketing and entrepreneurship major.
And my name is Jason Hernandez. My major is composition and music technology.
We left Atlanta.
So that was a 7-hour flight to London.
And then we arrived in Prague.
No single word describes the economy of Prague. As our group noted during its initial 3-hour walking tour, most every building dates back to the 19th century, but Prague's 3 subway systems are some of the most modern in the world. The European automobile industry is a major employer in the Czech Republic, but money for the upkeep of Prague's many fairy tale buildings and cathedrals comes almost exclusively from tourism.
All the buildings there are just amazing. They're just gorgeous, and we just aren't used to that living in the United States. Our buildings are kind of bland, and so
we were able to see the main center cathedral. It was so cool because they had a really like a golden clock on the side of it that had these mechanics that every hour would do this like little show.
of course the currencies were different everywhere, and so that was something that we really had to stay on top of.
Before leaving the States, our LaGrange College travelers were well coached on how to exchange their US dollars into Czech crowns and how to pay for dinner in euros.
That night, they also took us to see an opera.
Opera, as our group learned, is all about the music, because it's never been about the money. Few opera companies function as for-profit businesses. Most rely on government grants and corporate donations, not ticket sales, to keep the doors open.
They took us to see Carmen.
Which, not being a music student, I didn't really think that would interest me, but I actually enjoyed it a lot.
In order to attract regular audiences, most of the larger opera companies stick to a schedule of classic favorites, shows that have remained popular for hundreds of years.
And then we went from Prague took a bus to Vienna.
And the first thing that we did when we got to Vienna was we went to the Vienna City Cemetery. So you can like walk to Beethoven's grave and then go see Strauss's grave, and walk a couple steps further and you can see Mozart. I thought that was cool. It gave me chills.
And then we flew from Vienna to Venice.
We had the chance to go on a gondola.
Of course, we had our music students along, and so we had a couple girls. DeAundra and Anna Courtney are beautiful singers, and so they sang for us while we were floating down the river and on a gondola, and that was a really cool experience.
And we were able to see St. Mark's Basilica, and that one was really cool because the who's who of sacred music worked at St. Mark's.
And then we went from Venice to Milan. We had a very short time in Milan, and then we really, I think, went because we wanted to see the Last Supper painting. So we saw that real quick the next morning and then went straight to the airport and came home.
As part of their Jan term experience, every student on this trip was required to keep a journal. They were also assigned to write a reflective essay as part of their final grade.
If I had the opportunity to go again, I would definitely go in a heartbeat.
I would have never been able to do this unless the college was able to step in and help. So yeah, this whole trip was absolutely rewarding.
Other 2018 classes went to Thailand, the Philippines, Costa Rica, France, and Spain. For more information, visit lagrange.edu/janterm.
I'm Kayla White. I'm a junior graphic design major from Dallas, Georgia. I started playing volleyball when I was in 10th grade, and I got recruited to play here, so that's why I came to LaGrange in the first place. But then I just realized I just had a lot more going on. My service site is the Active Life. It's a recreational place for people 55 and older. I just enjoy them, and I am in the middle of teaching a computer class to them, honestly, and it's like 4 weeks. And so I've taught them how to use the computer, how to use the internet, how to use YouTube, and I've set them up emails and Facebook accounts. I think I've always had a passion for art. I just think that until I got to college, it was always you can't have a job in art, there's no money in art. And then I think it was around high school, there was this game where you guess the logos, and logos just always intrigued me, and so that's why I'm going down the graphic design path, because I want to be a logo designer. I want to take small businesses and give them a simple logo, a complicated logo, I don't know, something that where they can say that this is them without having to say this is them. I think the simplistic ones really get me, because it's someone just made a living off of a Nike check or a big yellow M. That blows my mind. I love a lot of things about LaGrange, honestly. We have a good career center, and I've taken advantage of that as much as I could, and I've gotten 2 internships so far, and I'm only a junior, and that's really unheard of. LaGrange College is a place where you can come not knowing who you are or who you want to be, and by the time you leave, you know exactly who you are, you know exactly where you want to be, and you get there from the family feel that they have here. People care about you here. It really is a home away from home. I know people say that all the time, but it's the truth.
My name is Grace Neal. I'm a sophomore nonprofit leadership major with, I'm considering a biology minor. Some background about myself. I was adopted from China at the age of 7 months old from an orphanage in south central China, Hunan province. A lot of people say that I'm very Americanized, and I could totally agree with that. I decided on nonprofit because my grandparents had Alzheimer's, and I specifically wanted to work with the Alzheimer's Association. Poverty Studies, the professor for that course is Alvin Lingenfelter, and I took his New Testament class the year before. I didn't know that he was teaching the class, but when I saw that on the bulletin, I was very excited. And I think his teaching style is very interesting because he doesn't stand up by the board and just write things down. He wants us to talk to each other and learn from each other as much as we learn from him and the text. There's a lot of predetermined bias and judgments about poverty and how people are just in poverty and they could just get out of poverty so easily. But we've learned throughout the course that it's more than that. It seems to be cyclical, and we're learning the different environmental factors, socioeconomic factors, education factors, and how that can affect poverty as well. We definitely offer so many different and diverse classes that I think anybody could come to LaGrange and fall in love with everything that we offer.
I am DeAundra Green. I'll be entering my senior year here at LaGrange College, and I'm an exercise science major. I went to Griffin High School. My history teacher was William Sykes. It wasn't even only him that I had that came to LaGrange College. It was also an art teacher I had. Seeing how much of an impact the college had on them really made my decision a lot easier. Toured the campus, met a lot of the students. interacted with them a lot too, made me feel super welcome. All of them were so friendly. More than anything, it was just the connections I made with the people the first time I visited. LaGrange College was actually the first school that let me know of the majors that I had available open to me. I know I wanted it to have something to do with motor skills, specifically because of my youngest sister who has multiple disabilities going on with her. So that was a big deciding factor as well. I was very much always a reserved person, but Professor Riggs, she was the first one to say, "You're applying for this program, correct?" More than anything, it was just actually seeing what the program entailed. Even as simple as the soup kitchen that we have just a block away. I do enjoy hanging out with my friends, of course, but I think the thing I find actually most rewarding is being able to tour prospective students and seeing and hopefully allowing them to see the campus the way I see it and having them enjoy it. And hopefully as soon as orientation comes around, I see them here and like, wow, they're here because of me at the end of the day.
I picked LaGrange College because I fell in love with it immediately. Like, even looking at the website, I was like, wow, this is gorgeous. It has everything I want from a big school, downsized. I'm Lydia Subat. I'm a senior business major with a sports concentration at LaGrange College. We offer a lot of hands-on activities, so a lot of our classes are not in seat. A lot of them are learn by doing. I started out this year working with the Falcons home games and Atlanta United with the fan experience, which basically is helping fans as they enter into the stadium. And we have this new professor, his name is Preston James. He went to school at Kansas Law, and he just kind of dove right into the sports industry, and you name it, he knows pretty much everyone. Doc walks into the class and says, "My class got invited to work at the Super Bowl. If you're in, you're in, and I need to know who it is." And my hand immediately shot up because sports companies will not hire you fresh out of college or if you've just done customer service. They want to know who you are and kind of get a feel for you before they actually hire you on full time.
Flushed out, keeps his eyes downfield and completes it to Alshon Jeffrey. Bowles deep in the pocket, fires downfield, and
we were offered to work the NFL house, and that is like a huge opportunity. A lot of people don't even know what the NFL house is. It's not advertised. The NFL house is a lounge specifically for executive corporate workers of the NFL and NFL players, retired or Hall of Famers or current players. As a hired volunteer, like one of 12 to work that entire event for 4 days, that is unreal and unheard of. And our instructor got us there. Dr. James got us there. I'm like a huge Saints fan. I mean, it's not every day that you have Peyton Manning on your left and Eli on your right. I mean, growing up my entire life, my dad like raised us on football. So Joe Montana was a big deal in the house. So, and Archie Manning. So the fact that you knew on the spot who those people were, you're just like, oh my goodness, Dad, I'm like looking at these people right now. There were 6 colleges in total there. LaGrange College was like the smallest college there. And that itself is like putting LaGrange's name out there, putting my name out there. And it's a reward to have somebody say, hey, I'm the executive of operations for the NFL. I like what you're doing, send me your resume. And it's just kind of like this dream is unfolding that you've planned your entire life. 3 people offered me internships at the Super Bowl. So.
yes, touchdown.
In the summer of 2010, photographer Brandon Stanton began photographing and interviewing people on the streets of New York City and publishing their honest, sometimes surprising stories online.
I was part of the Servant Scholar program, and through that program I was able to meet very influential leaders and people in the community, and that just got me thinking, hey, I kind of want to do a Humans in New York blog, but for LaGrange, because there's just so many interesting people that I've discovered and have met. For instance, I mean, just Chris Hageback.
Chris was a lawyer for a very long time. He went from where he fought with people every day to a community where he taught people every day and smiled with people every day.
With Gloria's interview, she told us about how she dedicated her life to try to make a better future for her kids and herself.
Kim and Phillip Benefield, they are beekeepers, so I went and I took a picture of them in their beekeeping suits with all their bees, and we joked about how they couldn't name every single one of them, but how they wanted to. Glenn Lopez, he works at Charlie Joseph's, and he had an incredible story about moving from California to Georgia.
And interestingly enough, we actually went there for lunch a couple of days later, and as soon as we walked in, Glenn had the biggest smile on his face, and he said, there's been so many people who've never even come in before, who come in all the time, just shaking my hand and saying thank you and how wonderful he is.
When you put a magnifying glass over a small community, you don't just see a small community, you see tons of huge lives that have huge impacts and have huge stories that you would never otherwise have heard.
Connect with Coral and Jacob and suggest someone you think should be featured on Humans of LaGrange.
DeAundra Green, class of 2018, uses her music and composition technologies degree to write and produce very personal songs about life and the lessons we all have to learn. Presently a master's degree student at Georgia Southern University, DeAundra's music video, Love Me Like That, is available on SoundCloud and YouTube. It was directed by LaGrange College exchange student Victor Borley.
To say we seem to get along is an understatement. It seems I've been waiting for so long, and I'm losing patience. Yeah. 'Cause I'm into you. I know you're feeling me too. So baby, what you gon' don't tell me, show me the. 'Cause even though I could dream about it, yeah, even fiend about it, I just gotta know. If you really knew me, would you love me like that? If I really knew you, would I love you right back? If you really knew me, would you love me like that? And if I really knew you, would I? If you really knew me, would you love me like that? If I really knew you, would I love you right back? If you really knew me, would you love me like that? And if I really knew you, would I? I'm trying so hard to make you see just how much I want you, boy. Still we live in this place I don't wanna be. I need you closer, whoa, whoa. 'Cause you know I'm into. I know you're feeling me. So baby, what you gonna do? Don't tell me, show me the proof. 'Cause even though I could dream about it, you know I've been thinking about it.
As an instructor in LaGrange College's Digital Creative Media and Film program, Phillip Truitt inspires young filmmakers with his knowledge of screenwriting, motion picture editing, and cinematography.
Just wanting to be able to pass that on and be a positive mentor for these young people who are interested in film.
In an effort to stay on top of current trends, Professor Truitt produces films outside the classroom as well, some very personal. His most recent film deals with the issue of environmental sustainability, a concern of his since boyhood.
I'm connected, right? I'm as connected as you can get. We grew up on the backside of a swamp. We always made sure that we tried to take care of the resources that we had. And so I naturally assumed that everyone had that instilled into them, and they don't.
This is West Point Lake on the Chattahoochee, and I grew up around here.
River documents the beauty and wonder of the Chattahoochee, and along the way, makes two important points.
Wanted to convey the message of get out and enjoy your life. It's short. Then the other part of that are the relationships.
These guys are one of the reasons I love this.
My family and my friends are important to me, and I want to spend as much time with them as I can. And so that's why I included that aspect of this in this, and it just so happens that where we do this is on the river. We have the most endangered river basin in North America, right here in our backyard. It's a 400-mile river that goes down through a basin. I mean, we've got wildlife there that, some of the species, they won't be here in another 50 years because we did not steward the resource.
And as eternal as it may seem, it has a beginning and an end. And like navigating the river, we're free to choose how we move through it. And if we're lucky, some can even make the journey together.
If this goes away, it's not coming back. Never gonna come back.
Watch Phillip Truitt's 9-minute documentary River, as well as other examples of his work. And for more information about the digital creative media and film program at LaGrange College, visit lagrange.edu.
My name is Jessica Morgan, and I have a double concentration in painting and graphic design. This is the Lamar Dodd Art Center. It's both a working museum and a classroom studio space for traditional art, digital art, photography, and ceramics. The third floor is pretty much my domain. Here I have a little area where I can paint. I enjoy painting the human form because it's such a challenge. I tend to make my own canvases, simply because it gives me a more satisfying feeling. Not only does the painting belong to me, but the canvas does as well. Once I get to a point where I'm, say, about 90% there, I'll show it to one of my professors. I trust their sense of judgment and advice. My paintings have been featured here at the Lamar Dodd Art Center, at the Coweta Visual Arts Center in Noonan, Georgia, the Suffering Artists Gallery in Hogansville, and as the only student member of the Visual Artists Alliance of LaGrange, otherwise known as VAL, I've contributed to shows at the LaGrange Art Museum. I'm also an Asian Studies minor. I've learned a lot about the people, languages, and the history of Japan. I'm hoping to spend some time in Tokyo and Kyoto earlier next year. Personally, being an art major is exciting. No two creative experiences are ever the same. No matter where I eventually end up, I feel like LaGrange has prepared me with a wide range of practical skills, including the ability to solve problems creatively and work independently if needed. For me, painting, design work, using my hands and mind in unison is sort of a therapy. I've dealt with depression throughout my life, and I still do. But painting allows me to express myself. I use my creativity to resolve issues and reduce stress. I just want any upcoming artists to know that even though it seems like impossible, it's really not. I just want to inspire people to just keep pushing through and don't give up. Never give up.
To close out this episode of LaGrange College Presents, a preview of the exciting lineup of plays and musicals you'll be invited to attend beginning this fall.